English news every morning.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely audiences. Welcome to the East-West Show that is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, the Belgium royal family designated brand of jewelry with 400 years of glorious history and hand-forged by 10 generations of the master craftsmen on the global earth. Altogether, the name of Wolfer stands for a testimony to the spectacular and a share of royal glory. Welcome to the show and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you. Back to the show. Today with me is a great friend of mine and a great friend of the community, a great friend of EDI, Miss Hao Qi, Kathy Hao, attorney at law. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Every time you're here, I do lots of homework because I know it is not easy to get you out of your busy schedule. Yeah, she's very busy. And when I packed enough questions, I really have to ask you for help. I mean, professional help. But right now, what happens, looking around at the impeachment, impeachment has been almost every day on the headline across the nation, across the world, except starting from yesterday when they're off, where they're back home to
for holidays.
Yeah. Right? So it's been all flooded, impeachment.
Yeah.
It has been looked upon or analyzed from all layers. From the news perspective, there's no secret. From the theory perspective, everybody says that I have a theory, right? So I ask you for help, and I'm also, by asking you, I'm helping my audiences to number one, see a look at the Constitution perspective.
Okay.
In other words, from Constitution, what does the President of the United States have as authority, as power, what he doesn't, and then opposing that versus that, what Congress can do and how much they can do, to what extent.
Okay.
And versus all the two, there is national security, there's national defense, there's the sky above us, right? There's the economy, there's everything. So from constitutional perspective, my dear friend, my lovely audiences, I'm bringing the crying baby to the mother. Please.
Well, it is a big subject, Constitution. You know, I'm a lawyer and I like to talk about it based on evidence and, you know, the rule and evidence. So in our nation, we have election law. The president was elected and is confirmed and it's been a president. So that is in conformity with our Constitution. And we also have the Congress, we also have the Senate. So the reason we have all the founding father had this structured for our country is to balance the power.
Checks and balance.
Correct, it's balance the power. So the president's power is limited, it's not unlimited. The Congress power is also limited, and the Senate power is also limited. So how they balance the power, and now, to impeach the president, you got to have some evidence to be impeachable. So the rule is the Congress will do investigation, and upon the investigation, upon the conclusion of the investigation, they make a decision whether or not the president going to be impeached. And after that, Congress will hand the decision to the Senate, and the Senate will hold a trial.
allow me a little insertion here because I hate to get confused and I hate to confuse my audiences.
Right.
So when we talk about checks and balance, we're talking about the president and Congress and the Justice Department, right?
Correct.
JOD.
Yeah,
right?
correct. Yeah.
Okay. Now, when we say checks and balance within Congress, though, between the House and the Senate and the president, that three function the same checks and balance?
Not really. I mean, I think our federal system is the check and balances are by, you have Congress, you have Senate, and then you have the president, and then of course you have the Department of Justice. Actually, Department of Justice is given a power to investigate and to prosecute. So, but at this point for impeachment, I don't think Department of Justice is involved because it's not administrative function at this time.
No, it's not.
Correct. So right now it's at the level of Congress and the Senate. So at these triangle relationships. So in this kind of check and balances, we're not talking about whether or not the Department of Justice will prosecute someone. It is how much power the president has and how much power that can be limited by the Senate and the Congress. So in this case, not only the president need to be, the behaviors, acts of impeachable acts are going to be first investigated and then has to be voted by minority, by simple majority of the Congress. And then that decision has to be tried at the Senate level and has to be determined by majority vote. So there are differences in that. So that's why there are many times if there's a bill that will never pass because, there's
the House and the Senate.
House, the Senate, and President, and it could be, even though sometimes President could have executive power, but that power can be limited by the court. So the court system also limit how much power the president can enforce. For example, we have the limits of the 6 nations of for custom limits, and then, but lawsuit is filed against the president, and that was stopped. There are a lot of things that the president may propose, but will probably never pass the congressional level. So it will never go that far. But for the impeachment purposes, like I said, you got to go through this circle.
All right, very good, very good. Let's say stage by stage, level by level, right? We'll peel the onion layer by layer. Now at this stage, so the president says, no, I'm not impeachable, right? The House says, yes, you're impeachable. And then the vote says, yes, we're impeaching you, right? The Senate vote suppose say, no, there is no case at all. In between the Senate and the House, though, there's no agreement. And then it looks at between the president and the Congress, there is a dispute, right?
Yeah.
So does that mean somewhere, somehow, the Department of Justice, DOJ, will kick in?
No. DOJ is far from this process. No, DOJ has no power to do any of this. No. DOJ is only
So
federal
when we
agency.
say the president, the Congress, and the DOJ,
Senate,
the checks and balance, though, I'm looking at the picture of a checks and balance.
No.
Would the DOJ jump in to balance it?
No. DOJ could never be in this level. No.
No.
No, I don't know where you got that from. DOJ come to the no. There's never. So let's say if the Senate hold the trial, and then had a vote, and the vote says no, and this impeachment is over.
I see.
It's over.
I see.
Yeah,
I see.
the game is over.
In that case, the checks and the balance is performed amongst president, House, and the Senate.
Yes.
Ah.
Yeah, DOJ is not playing any role in this.
DOJ has no business in the whole thing.
None.
All right, my dear friend, my lovely audience, I'm I'm getting a chance to learn more about our Constitution. Okay, the checks and balance refers to different situations. In this situation, at this level, when you're on the level of impeaching a president, though, it is the president, the House, and the Senate.
Yeah, DOJ functions as, in our level, for a county level, city level, in county it's called district attorney, or in the city it's called city attorney. And DOJ, Department of Justice, is federal level. It's a prosecuting agency. So it's not in this level that they're going to perform anything.
If some crimes are detected
That's DOJ.
or discovered, either in the process of the House,
or reported. Yes,
in the process of the House, or in the process of the Senate,
or any individual, relating to federal law.
The Department of Justice will jump in.
Yes, with anything relating to in violation of federal law, that will be the DOJ's.
All right, my dear friends, I would say this is a successful first segment because I learned one thing and confirmatively. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll develop from that level. So stay with us.
Everything is expected. It's like things on waves.
My name is Paul James. I host this news.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, my dear friends, my lovely audiences, dear brothers and sisters, my dear fellow citizens of the United States of America. It is something about our country that we all care about. It is the big word, impeachment. I believe nowadays in the United States, nobody would not know the word impeachment from 3 years of age above.
Probably.
Everybody knows that. And today I want to get to the bottom line of it because there are so many issues on certain levels, on different levels, that it seems to be very mystifying. I, as a show host, sitting here, I want to be responsible to my audiences to get the right, correct, and the most professional answers to all the confusions. One, for checks and the balance amongst United States of America Congress and the United States President and the Department of Justice.
The Senate.
This is the general checks and balance, right? That's our principle. As to a level of impeachment, the balance is performed, the checks and balance are performed, the President, the House, and the Senate. Okay, by that, I would like to once again bring you my dear friend, Kathy Howe, attorney at law. In my eye, she is the super attorney.
Thank you.
Are you a super attorney? You are a super attorney anyway, right? All right. And she's been performing law in California for so many decades. And I know she's attorney of no failure record, right? So once again, welcome back.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you.
Now, I want to once again confirm whatever Senate has decided is the final.
Well, this is because we already have a decision from the Congress. So now the Senate is given the duty to hold a trial. So that's when they need to look into the evidence, and then after that hearing, the Senate will have to determine and vote. And if it is approved by the majority vote, then the president will be impeached. And then Department of Justice only looking to the violation of federal law and see if there's a federal crime committed by the president.
I see.
But for the impeachment purposes, that means to take the presidency away from the president. That's called impeach. So if the Senate decide no, then impeachment is over.
All right. You said vote. when they vote, the Senate, when they vote, do they vote to decide whether they proceed with the trial?
No.
Or they vote at the end of the trial?
They vote at the end of the trial.
In other words, there's going to be a trial anyway.
Correct, yes. There's going to be a trial at the Senate level to try to see if it's, and then vote based on the trial.
I see. In other words, the success of the House to have the impeachment articles documented
Right,
is in the sense of sending it to the Senate,
Correct.
which will hold a trial.
correct.
All right.
And that's why the Congress right now is not giving that it's
that's
not
exactly
handing
my
that
question.
to Senate.
Why would
Why?
it put on hold?
Okay, because there are quite many issues involved in this, and it could only be analyzed. There's no legal reasons, and there's no factual reasons why. But Nancy Pelosi said, unless we're convinced there's going to be a fair trial at the Senate level, we're not going to give this to them. So they're holding on this, and I think there are a couple of reasons for that. And number one, they really are looking for confirmation from the Senate that there's going to be a trial, fair procedure. So they're going to lay out the procedure. This is what we're going to do at the trial, and this is the procedure we're going to enforce. Things like that to convince the Congress that, okay, you can let us handle at this point. Another reason is that it's the end of the year. It's end of the year, which means that once it's given to Senate will make decisions in 2 or 3 days, which is during the break time. Or, and Senate has other issues to be determined. I mean, everything has to be scheduled. So time-wise is probably not a good timing for them to do,
okay, I see
because
you
it's the
mean,
end of the year and the holiday season, and it's closing down. So that's probably another reason that it was not given, because of the timing. So I think another reason it could be some others political struggles in between and among them, and I don't know, but I think there are quite many reasons, and there's no really legal reasons why they don't. Okay.
All right, very good. You're a trial attorney yourself, right?
Yes.
So when you say trial, is it the same or similar as the trial court you go?
No, it's not. Even the trial we go is different. I mean, if we go to trial in the state level, it's different. If we go to arbitration trial, it's different. We go to federal level, it's different. And if we go to court appeals, it's different. So every trial in different court system is different. I mean, sometimes you have 3 panel judges, and you have 9. Supreme Court has 9 judges. I mean, every trial is different, but the rule of evidence is the same in everywhere. I mean, rule of evidence, you cannot have hearsay, you cannot,
They follow the same rule
same
of game.
rule of evidence on that. But, every court has its own procedures and own process. So the Senate, of course, a trial, I've never been to, I've never seen anything like that. But, I would presume it's going to be the same, similar process. Basically is that they're going to evaluate all the testimonies, all the evidence that the Congress have presented, and they may be able to call witness, and they may be able to subpoena. I mean, those powers are, I would assume that they are in the hand of Senate, they can do. So in that sense, they're the same. But, in general sense.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I believe my audience to get that, right? Get the essence, the ideas. They're going to be almost similar or different, but the rules are the same.
Yeah, general
And
rules should be the same.
The rules of evidence is the same.
Should be the
right?
same, yeah.
And the process of producing evidence is whatever, they follow the
Yeah,
same
whatever discovery rule
Okay.
maybe apply.
Back then, I was a reporter. I was at one time at a trial court just to cover some event, though. I saw how they proceed, right?
You're probably in a criminal court.
Yeah, criminal court,
Right,
yeah. Yes, it is
It
criminal
has-
court. And the attorney would check the jurors, members one by one.
Jury trial?
A jury trial.
Okay, yeah.
To to object to anyone,
question them.
right?
Yeah.
Replace 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
And the other attorney will do the same thing.
Yeah.
So now, my question is that you could actually open the trial to decide you are having or having not a fair trial.
Well, no.
How do you know
I think
it's not going to be a fair trial
Well-
even before it's open?
Well, it's very different what you went to because you went to, even trial has different trials. We have non-jury trial, they have jury trial. With jury, only with the jury trial, you select 12 people in the state level.
Yeah.
You select 12 people, you question all the pools of jurors and you question each one, and if someone you think is biased, then you get rid of that juror and then you replace another one until you have the 12 jurors that everybody agreed and everybody think they're going to be fair. That's
So
jury
both
trial.
confirm, yes, we're going to have a fair
Yeah,
trial.
That's jury trial. But there are many cases, a lot of attorneys practice law for their lifetime probably never had a jury trial. And I personally had only 4 jury trials. So the jury
That's a
trial
lot.
for for
that's a
lawyers
lot,
it's
yeah.
a lot, but
Yeah.
for jury trials that's what I'm saying. But in criminal court and there are more jury trials because they don't want the judge to decide someone's life. So they like to have jury trials. So in criminal court there are more jury trials, but civil court majority of the cases are not conducted by jury. There are smaller percentages that's conducted by jury, but if it's conducted by the judge, so how the judge is going to be fair, there are few indicators you can do. The number one, we probably have been in front of the judge many times, so we know this judge's likeness and dislikeness, and we know what kind of witnesses the judge may like and the judge doesn't like, or we know what subject he likes or what subject he dislikes. So there are many ways we can, some judges may be prohibited as or have predominated.
They may have their personal taste.
Correct, and most of them do. So, and a lot of times when we see a judge, and we could say, okay, this judge is going to be tough to win on certain issue, maybe easy to win on the other issue, because there are some elements of subjective ideas of the triers of the case, which in this case could be judge. So how to determine if they're fair or not fair, that's the question that Congress has right now. So you got all these senators, and the senators, everyone has, you have Republican senators, you have Democrat senators, and the numbers are different, and then now the Senate is controlled by the Republicans. Of course, Congress has concerns that whether or not the Senate is going to have a fair trial.
Oh, I see.
So,
All right.
of course, unless they are convinced that by convincing the Congress, probably they would say, okay, this is the procedure we're going to enforce, and this is how we're going to protect
All right.
the
Let's
fairness.
take a short moment out. We really need to develop, we need to plow further in it, all right?
Okay.
So, my dear audience, with me today is my dear friend, and dear friend to the community, also dear friend to EDI, a wonderful super attorney, Kathy Howe. From her, we want to get to the most professional answers to all the questions, and there's so much mystifying situation right now. Everybody talks differently. Everybody seems to be strong with their theories, their evidence whatsoever. So stay with us. We'll be right back, please.
continue to work on
My
it now.
name is Paul James. I host this news every morning.
and a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences, my dear brothers and sisters. Welcome back to the East-West show that is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelry with 400 years of glorious history and hand-forged by 10 generations of the best craftsmen on the global earth. Together, the name of Wolfers stands for a testimony to the spectacular and the share of the royal glory. Back to the show. Thank God we are entering Christmas holidays, and thank God I have this great individual, a dear friend of mine, helping me with the questions that bothers me for almost a year, right? Okay. Now, about impeachment, nobody doesn't talk about impeachment. Everybody is talking about impeachment. However, we're getting numb because there is so much of the same thing on and on and on. However, to the deeper perspective, to the constitutional perspective though, we really need somebody who are tall enough to give us the most professional answer to the questions, such that they might have, such as I do. So the person now be Kathy Howe, the attorney at law. Once again, welcome back to the show. And thank you for your wonderful analysis.
Thank you
for
very
the
much.
last two segments. Now, you were talking about that the House worries about the numbers of Republicans in Senate for fear that they might not get a fair judgment, right?
Yep.
Now, can the Senate say the same thing now with the House majorities? And I have a reason to doubt that your conclusion was not fair.
No, that's
Can they say that?
No, that's part of the check and balances. So we have a Congress system and a congressional system, and congressional system has a procedure to follow by the Constitution. So, yeah, there are many times the decisions may not be the likeliness of someone. You know, a lot of decisions and judgments may not be fair, may not be, to someone's like, but you have to accept it. So the system decided the congressional system will do this job, and then it will be Senate job. And Senate cannot say, okay, I'm going to overthrow that because I don't think it's fair because Congress has more, Democrats than the Republicans.
That's exactly my concern.
No. It's not. That's part of what we call check and balances. So you don't interfere what they're doing, and they cannot interfere what the Senate's
In other
decision
words,
is.
whatever they are doing is vested by
Correct.
Constitution.
Correct. So
right?
whatever decision the Senate is going to make, Congress has to
All right,
accept
take it easy. That's Congress.
Yeah.
That's Constitution,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Okay, very good. In other words, there are two blocks.
Correct.
It is your block. Your block's done. It's
Yeah.
my block's done.
Correct.
And both blocks were vested
Yeah.
by Constitution.
Correct. Yes.
And then what the president do?
President doesn't bother him. That's my opinion. It doesn't bother him.
Oh, he goes on.
He goes on his life and he goes on his things. And, I actually met him a week ago in the White House. And at a holiday party, I don't think that bothers the president at all. And, based on the news that he's going everywhere campaigning or whatever affair that he's conducting.
All right.
I don't
To
think it
your
bothers him.
estimation or expectation or analysis, what would be, or after New Year, what would be the proper time for Nancy Pelosi to submit the articles to the Senate?
I think once Congress resume working, they will have to consider this is a job unfinished. So once they came back from the vacation, she will have to decide when and
There has to be in a hurry.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the hearing process of houses and confirmation process of houses were
She cannot hold
were
it
done,
forever,
were
yeah.
done in so much a hurry way, right? So
Yeah, she cannot hold on that forever. I mean, that has to be.
Cannot
get
hold
out.
on for too long.
No, I think as soon as they come back from the vacation, from the holiday break, and then there'll be something. But as a matter of fact, I think another concern maybe something is like well, this is part of the thing, and one of the reasons I don't think that the president really cared too much. I think this impeachment process actually helped Donald Trump for re-election. And I think it's a loss.
That's what I
think
feel about.
I think it's a loss for the Congress, for the Democrat, because from the beginning, and there's so many things said and talk about a president violated the law of this and that, and so. But in the end, the two charges are not really relating to any of the so-called crime.
In other words, the investigation has found nothing.
Basically, what they said.
Nothing.
Yeah, so they had the obstruction of Congress and
obstruction of Congress
and abuse of power.
Obstruction of Congress is just a fake.
These are all very subjective.
It's a wide definition.
Yeah, it is a very subjective, and it's not like very factual based allegation. So a lot of factual allegation before was never revealed, and then he was not going to be impeached based on whatever called crime. So
yes, thank you very much for answering my two bigger questions during the past two segments, right? Let's say the petroleum company, right, of Ukraine.
Yeah.
All right, now, for that very person who doesn't know much, and quote unquote from himself, I don't think I know more than the other gentlemen, the other members on the board, right? To be on the board, to get paid, knowing nothing, knowing no more whatsoever, and something is wrong. Can we confirm that?
Well, there's something, but it's their choice. There's no law breaking here. I can hire anyone I want.
Yeah, that's right.
Ukraine Petroleum
suppose
Company
they hire me.
anyone
Suppose
they want.
they hire me.
But the question, though, the question is, what's the purpose of hiring?
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Now,
so
suppose they hire me.
I
am just I am. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. What you says applies.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Now, they love making mistakes.
Right.
Right. They made mistakes by hiring me.
Yeah.
And they love doing that. It's their problem. However, if I happen to be the son of Donald Trump, so how do you weigh it?
There's nothing wrong. There's still nothing wrong.
There's still nothing wrong?
There's nothing wrong for Ukraine or for whatever petroleum company to hire someone, even President's son. There's nothing wrong with that. For the president's son to be hired by a foreign company, there's nothing wrong with that. The wrong, if there's a wrong, there will be. The petroleum company of a foreign country hired the president's son to exchange for favor of something in the U.S. That is wrong.
All right.
That is
All right.
wrong.
It
So
looks like
and for the president's son now to disclose that he's working for a foreign company, that is wrong.
In other words, we use a term, no strings attached.
Not necessarily.
No strings attached.
No, I don't think that's a right analogy. I think your question would be, what is wrong if a foreign big company hired the president's son? If there's anything wrong, there's nothing wrong by hiring itself. Nothing wrong. It's just like you hired a bad attorney.
Right.
You pay for the attorney. There's
what
nothing
does
wrong.
the president of the United States do in return?
What he is going to do, or what the foreign company is doing. If the foreign company hired some high power family offsprings for the purpose of exchange important information to sabotage our nation, or for the benefit of their own family or personal gain, yes, there's wrong there. But just by hiring someone, there's nothing wrong. It has to go beyond that.
All right. All right, my dear friends, step by step, we're getting there. I believe that I'm convinced that hiring yourself is nothing wrong because I love, even a mistake, I love making
You
mistakes.
learn.
It's my,
Yeah.
it's my business.
Right.
Right? My
Yeah.
cup of tea.
Right. You
right?
can do anything you want.
you
unless it's
better,
not violation
you better
of
back
law.
off. It's
Right.
my own, right?
Right.
Okay, now.
Yeah.
And the question is that what is behind it? What is
Yeah.
the purpose of hiring? Okay, now, let's take a moment out. We come back for the last segment, for the final segment, to confirm some important points. So stay with us, my dear friends.
Everything
We
is
have
expected.
continue to
Straight.
work
It's
on
like
it now.
seems wrong way.
My name is Paul James. I host English news here in the morning.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audience. Welcome back to the East-West Show that is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelry with 400 years of history and hand-forged by 10 generations of the wonderful best craftsmen on earth. Together, the name of Wolfers stands for a testimony to the spectacular and the share of the royal glory. Back to the show. With my dear friend, Kathy Howe, attorney at law, we're getting there because the purpose of this show, this whole thing, is to get to the point by checking the constitutional perspective and checking the legal perspective to see what's right and what's wrong. All right. So thank you once again. Welcome back, and thank you
welcome.
very much for answering all the questions in my previous 3 segments. Right?
Okay, thanks. for
Now,
having
to
me.
the point. As a president of the United States, is he authorized to use some leverage to benefit this country?
Use his leverage to benefit this country? Well, as long as it's not violating the law, yes.
So, by benefiting the country, though, I mean,
That's his job
the
to benefit
president
the country.
wants to find out somebody is corrupted, right? By finding somebody's corruption, it benefits the country. Okay, the president using a leverage, so you go help me with the investigation of the corruption, and I'll give you the money.
Well, if the president can do whatever he wants, unless as long as it's not violating the law. I mean, if he had the money, the president. But we're talking about before he's a president or after he's the president. There's a fine line there. If he's a president, of course he can inquire any corruption. He can have DOJ to inquire and to investigate. I'm sure. But if the president, before he took the presidency and he has the money to investigate someone, and I don't think there's anything wrong there if he uses his own money and not sabotage our own country's interest, and there's no violation of law.
But this happened in Donald Trump's case, though. this happens after he took office.
If he took the office and he direct DOJ to do an investigation of corruption, I don't see anything wrong there. Why
right.
can't he? He's the president.
Okay.
If he has some
Regardless of whose son this very person is.
right, why can't he not investigate
In other
or
words, he
direct the
can.
investigation?
All right. Can he say the money designated for Ukraine,
Yeah.
let's give them in March? No. Let's give them in May. Can he say that?
Say that again.
Okay. The Ukraine money,
Yeah.
the aid to Ukraine,
Right.
right? Can he, as a president of the United States, release the money in February or delay in March or another delay to May?
To assist.
For the purpose to use that as a leverage to push for the investigation
You're talking
against
about-
corruption.
You're asking other foreign countries
Yes.
to investigate.
yes.
Okay, which is different from directing DOJ. So if he's using our country's funding and a country's interest for his personal gain, is never right. It's never right.
Well, we need a definition for his personal gain.
But as a
though.
negotiation, as a negotiation purposes for anything, he would say, he would say to China, we have Guo Wengui here. If you give me some information I want for our country, I will give you Guo Wengui. I mean, will that be? Does the president have the power to do it? He has the power to negotiate. He has the power, whether or not it's right. I mean, if he's doing, for example, violating any laws and overpowering or acting of violation of any power that's embedded on another agency, yes, he's violating the law. Yes, but in this case, it's different when you say he's directing Ukraine government to investigate someone's son's illegal activity or corruption.
Or I'll delay your aid.
He can certainly demand that. Why can't he? Because you're not working for our country's interest. Why should I give you money if you're not acting to give us the evidence?
That's exactly my confusion.
What we need. Yeah.
That's exactly my confusion, right? Now, regardless of whose son this very guy is, corruption is corruption.
Yeah.
I want you, president of Ukraine or whoever, helping that as an incentive. I'll release the money now.
Well, this money is decided already given to them, and just
already there, right? I'll release the money now.
But if there's a fact finding that Ukraine is acting in violation of our own country's interest, why would this country give the money to them? And that's my personal opinion, of course. But can the president inquire? Yes, he can inquire, and I don't think the president is going to be so stupid.
I believe the difference is that the division line is right at the point. Was the money, I mean the aid money, a decision before or decision after? Am I right?
Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean,
no.
No, I don't think so. I think giving an aid is not president's own idea. I mean, it has to be.
I know.
It's approved. But in terms of when to give it to them, whether or not they should put some condition on it, or whether I think
or to use that as a leverage.
As a leverage, and I think the President Trump has pretty good team. I don't think he would be so stupid to do something violating the law. I think of course he can use certain power to negotiate and negotiate power. So, but I don't think that he can.
In other words, as attorney, you'll find no violation of this president so far, with the findings so far.
No, I don't have any evidence of anything. I mean, I haven't seen evidence.
That's the professional talk.
Right. I don't see
evidence.
any
Evidence. I need to see evidence.
Right.
I don't want to give a conclusion.
I cannot make decisions without seeing the evidence.
Unless or until you provide me with a strong evidence.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
I would not say this person is in violation of U.S. law.
Of course, yes.
Very good. Last group of questions from neither a constitutional perspective nor the legal perspective, from a partisan perspective. From the partisan perspective, look at the two parties. They are historically divided, right? Which, as a lead, makes the country more divided than before, right? How do you, as a regular person, as an average person, look at this, and how do you worry? Do you not worry about our future?
I don't think I worry about our future because of the founding
Even
father.
even with the division?
No, the founding father has had this check and balances and a setup that the one party cannot overpower the other, and the president cannot ignoring the other, and then, so. But what I can say is that it's never been so divisive. But the economy is strong.
Yeah.
People are very realistic. I mean, we have a great economy.
And stock exchange is up?
Right. We have a great economy, yes. Most people, maybe a lot of people, may not personally agree with certain styles of the president. He should not be on the Twitter all the time, and he should not be so blunt of anything, and so direct of everything. I mean, he's so different from regular politicians, and I think that's why a lot of people are not used to it. People don't like it. They're used to this, diplomatic talk and the politician talk, and all of a sudden we have this person who is just saying whatever is in his mind. So most people, I like his personal
like loose
taste?
cannon.
Yeah, I don't like this. I personally don't like, a president always on the Twitter and you have to express your opinion for everything. No. But on the other hand, it's a fresh air. People are tired of
something new.
Yeah, it is so new, and people are tired of those typical politicians who just talk and not doing. And then, and I think people are so realistic about economy. I would worry about if this country has no food and short of food and short of productions and economy goes sink. I mean, all these will be worrisome, but based on current situation, I don't think I need to worry about it. I mean,
all right. Now, though, you mentioned earlier about the situation with the impeachment, though. Would it help Republican or would it help Democrat?
It would, of course, help. It has helped Republican.
It has
for
already.
Sure. It has helped the president for sure, and a lot more people.
In what sense?
In what sense? Because even for the swinging people, before I'm not sure about President Trump. Before it was very clear. Hardcore Republicans, for sure, they're big fan of the president, and Democrats hate the president. Very, very clear. The line was so clear. But there are a lot of people in the middle. A lot of people don't know, I don't like him. But then I'm not sure if I should revote him, or I'm sure I should vote him next time. Or, but who else is better than him? People start to do analysis. At this time, we have impeachment. Then Democrats kept saying the president had violated law. The president had done this. He's a dirty person. He's so bad, and he should not be president. And then they did not present the evidence. And that make people feel, oh, this is all political games for Democrats. So this is a game for them. And this is a game to gain control. This is the game, the all political game, ignoring the fact and economy and everything else. So, and a lot of people turn to the president.
My dear friend, with me
Thank
today
you.
is my lovely friend, Kathy Howe, attorney at law. And she's a super attorney. In my eyes, she is a super attorney.
Thank you.
And with her professional answer from the constitutional point of view, from legal point of view, and also from partisanship point of view, I believe that we are seeing a picture that is clearer than before. So thank you for watching. And to Kathy, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay.